Hello, we're here to talk about what is a dark moon goddess.
It's exciting because Christina had this download about the Dark Moon Goddess retreat, and it's been super fascinating because we named it the Dark Moon Goddess or Dark Moon Goddess retreat, and so we really it's not something that's super common or common knowledge. So we wanted to get in and really chat about what a Dark Moon Goddess is.
Yes, because it's actually really misunderstood. There have been some people who have chosen to not look further into the retreat because of the name. So I just want to call that out right now. The name can freak people out. So we could get all philosophical and talk about why, and I've certainly done a lot of thought about this, about why it's been villainized. But first, let's talk about what it actually is. So
Yes.
April, I'm
Okay.
curious, when I came to you and I told you about this download about the Dark Moon Goddess, what were your thoughts? What did you understand about Dark Moon Goddesses?
Honestly, I didn't know a lot. Excuse me. I did have the awareness of the triple goddess of the maiden, mother, and crone. And so I did understand a little bit, and I had been working with the moon at this point, and so I did really understand the new moon phase was the dark moon phase. And so it was just a phase. And so it didn't freak me out at all. But I will say, of past conditioning, there was an element of me that was like, are we sure? Are we sure we want to do this? So, so tell us kind of your download and why Dark Moon Goddess?
Yeah. So I think that why this is such an important project for me is because I have had a fear of getting older. I really have had a fear of getting older. And I have lived my life in such a way with high health practices and all these other things because I didn't want to get old. Because getting old to me looked like you stopped having fun. That's really what it looked like to me. And fun is such an important element to me. And so as I was approaching my Chiron return, 50 years old, I knew that there were things that I wanted and didn't want in what I hope to be 120. Like I want to live to be 120 years old. So this is like beyond the second half of my life. Like I've got more than another half of life to live. And so being super familiar and having studied a lot with the triple moon goddess. So if you're unfamiliar with that, it's the two crescent moons besides the circle. And that represents maiden. That's the moon that looks like a D. And that's obviously a maiden. That's somebody before they have children, a woman before she has children. And then there's the mother, which there's a really clear difference between maiden and mother. This very outward, when you have a child, then you move into that. Or at a certain point in life, when even if you don't have biological children, you might have children of the mind, but you are of that particular age for that. But the transition into crone is a lot more subtle, and it happens at different points in life as far as where maybe your biological children are or the children of your mind are. But there's also some astrological transits around it. And there's also physical changes that happen in a woman's body that indicate you're in crone phase. And can we just talk for a minute about that word crone? Like that is a triggering word to a lot of women. And to be honest, I'm still redefining what that means. That's partly why I called it Dark Moon Goddess. But I'm just going to say it right here. The Dark Moon Goddess is the crone. It is the crone phase.
It is.
And when that triple goddess, go ahead.
Go ahead. You're on
When the
a roll.
triple goddess symbol was, brought into our practices, the crone was actually a time of veneration. It was a time of the mystery and the unknown, when all that creative energy that your body had been putting into creating life could now go introspectively. So it's this time of increased intuition, transformation, and this really hidden aspect of femininity. Mm-hmm. That's what the Dark Moon Goddess is, my friend. I look forward to it.
Yes, and it really is kind of this space of I'm so sorry. This space of because I will say too, darkness, like we've been taught culturally to fear the dark, right? To think that it's in the darkness that all the bad things happen. When in actuality, we are both because we live in a polarized earth plane. We have light, we have darkness in all of us, where there's light and shadow. And if we resist the shadow gets bigger. And so it's actually diving into that hidden potential, that inner
Mhm.
self, that you actually find so many gifts. So many gifts. And a lot of the gifts are wisdom, it's transformation, it's renewal. It is literally just like the mysteries of the universe. And so, and they're all accessed in that dark space, going to the depths to find it. And a lot of
Yes.
healing and regeneration.
100%. Going within, looking at the shadow, opening the closets of the mind that we may not have had the wisdom, experience, knowledge, or courage to open before. And when we think about something that is created, a seed that gets into the darkness of the ground, grows roots, and then sprouts. A child or an animal that's born in from a womb or an egg, that dark space within is where things grow. And
Mhm.
I just, to think about the second half of life as being this time where you can go within, and this is why it's a time of regeneration. Regeneration of what? Of gifts, of intuition, of these hidden aspects of our femininity, of our creativity, of the magic and mystery of life. It's exciting, it's beautiful, and this is what the Dark Moon Goddess Retreat helps us do. And one of the things that I've loved about the Dark Moon Goddess Retreat is we have women that are well into their cronedom, like in their 70s. And we have women that are still very, very much in the mother phase, that are in their mid 30s, like you, for example, my co-facilitator with this. We're on these two different experiences, but the value that it brings to everyone, in that. And that's one of the things that I honestly love the most, is watching the older women and the younger women come together and share wisdom from both
Yeah.
experiences.
Yeah. There's so much value. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. There's so much value in gathering of women together to share their life, to share their experience, and to value each other and what they've been through. And that there's no competition here. There's no like, oh, well, you're 20 years older than me. There, oh, you're 20 years younger than me. It is literally this space of true like connection. And as far as the dark moon goddess goes too, there's we have come from this space of nurturing and serving and giving to actually a place of protection and strength. So we become the women that are ready to be the warriors, to have the strength and like protect. Like it's so interesting because all of these women come together and they come together to share each other's strength and then to protect one another, to protect collect in our wisdom and in our heat and in it. It's just it's so freaking magical.
It is. And just looking at past retreats and the very close relationships that these goddesses have together, goddesses that are dark moon goddesses and goddesses that are in their mother phase of their goddess phase. They are
Mm.
so supportive, so still in that circle of sharing wisdom, support. It's such a beautiful thing. It is more than I even could have imagined when I downloaded this concept. And I just, one of the things that I would love to encourage anybody who's watching this to do is really look at what are your feelings about getting older.
Ooh.
Talk about doing some shadow work with the vilification of older people, specifically older women. Let's look at that. I would love to see in the comments some of your ideas about what this feels like and what it looks like. And if you are there, what it's really like. Okay? Because it doesn't have to be this falling apart or a uselessness or, the ugly old hag or, all these messages that we're given from the time we're children and we're watching movies about, how dangerous old women. You know what? You know why we're dangerous? Because we know who we are. We have the wisdom and experience, and we have the intuition. We cannot be controlled. So, of course, that's dangerous. That is highly dangerous to people who want to control us.
Yeah, and we don't care. We don't
Nope.
care what, like, we've let go of the judgments. And so, yes, and it does. It comes down to that we cannot be controlled. Yeah, so it's a beautiful thing. And I actually really love the concept of the dark moon goddess, because it is this space of that you're a goddess. Like, ultimately, you are a goddess. And so it wasn't like the dark moon witch or the dark moon hag or the dark moon crone. We really wanted to help you to step into the goddess aspect of it, because that ultimately is what you are.
Mm, absolutely beautiful, April. Beautiful, beautiful. If this is exciting or intriguing or you want to know more information, go to darkmoongoddess.com. Reach out to April or me. And we are here to just bring the wisdom of women, the wisdom of the crone, the wisdom and intuition in this feminine time of life to the light, out of the shadows. That's really what we're doing. Like, let's get out of the shadows and really, really stand up strong. No, we cannot be controlled. And I'm sorry if that scares you, but we're here and we're a force to be reckoned with in bringing love and light to the world, because that's what goddesses do. They
Yeah.
acknowledge the shadow and they bring in the light.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And connect to their wisdom. It really is ultimately the wise woman that traditionally and other cultures have, like, connected to and honored, but for some reason, like, the Western culture has vilified instead of honored. So
Time to change things up.
yes, we are here for that.
100%. Go to darkmoongoddess.com and thank you so much.